Microplastics are everywhere, and our bodies didn't evolve to handle or eliminate them in large amounts. So the plastic particles build up in our bodies and can mess with hormones, trigger inflammation, and damage cells. But here's the good news. There is a way to support your body so it can get rid of them, and in this video I'll share the best supplements to do this. To get right in, you want to think of microplastics detox as a 3-step process. 1, they have to be released from your cells. 2, they need to be processed by your liver. And 3, they need to be transported out of the body. The trick is to support all 3 steps in the right order, otherwise you can create bottlenecks. Let's break this down and build a supplement stack that actually makes sense. So step 1, getting microplastics out of cells. The biggest problem with microplastics is that they don't just float around in your bloodstream. Your cells literally trap them, and immune cells, for example, lock them up inside compartments called lysosomes. Now, lysosomes can't actually break down plastic, so the particles just sit there and mess with cellular function. This is where sulforaphane comes in. Sulforaphane is a natural compound found in broccoli sprouts. It activates something called the NRF2 pathway, which is kind of a master switch for your body's detox and antioxidative systems. When NRF2 turns on, your cells ramp up repair systems, and most importantly for us, they trigger something called lysosomal exocytosis. This is just a fancy way of saying that your cells finally push those trapped microplastics out into the bloodstream so that they can be cleared. There was a self-experiment that I talked about in one of my other videos showing that a single 100 milligram dose of sulforaphane caused a huge spike in microplastics being released into the blood just 36 hours later. That means it was literally forcing cells to let go of their stored toxins. Now, one experiment doesn't make sulforaphane a proven detox supplement, but for now, I would say that it's the most promising one. If you want to try this out, the best way to get sulforaphane is from broccoli sprouts. So here, a small handful of about 30 to 60 grams would be best. Or you can also go with supplements. And here, a normal dose would be around 100 milligrams of active sulforaphane. Besides that, you will want to support glutathione, so the body's main detoxifier and antioxidant. You can boost it with things like N-acetylcysteine, so NAC, which is a direct glutathione precursor, or even just whey protein, which works well in people who don't tolerate NAC, because it's also rich in cysteine. Liposomal glutathione would also work, but it's more expensive and not as practical. Now, step 2 is then processing in the liver. So once plastics are released from cells, they land in your bloodstream, where they will then be picked up by the liver. I have a lot of videos on liver detox on my channel, and they all explain the process behind it in much more detail. The most important players here would be B vitamins, especially B6, as well as amino acids, especially sulfur-containing ones like cysteine, methionine, and taurine. The processing in the liver also creates quite a few free radicals, so antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc can help protect the liver during this heavy lifting. Think of it as giving your liver the building blocks that it needs to package up the plastics to then later send them out. Which then brings us to the last step, which is transporting everything out of your body. Here's where most detox protocols fail. So mobilizing toxins is only half the battle. You need to actually get them out, otherwise they will just recirculate. The main way our liver eliminates toxins is through bile. That bile gets dumped into your blood and eventually carried out in the stool. The problem is if bile flow is sluggish, or if you don't have anything in your gut to bind the plastics, then they just get reabsorbed. What that means is that the third part of detoxification is all about supporting bile and adding binders. Taurine is one of the best nutrients here because it's critical for bile acid production, and higher bile flow means better toxin transport. Also, lecithin supports healthy bile consistency, so it doesn't turn into sludge. And natural binders are substances that grab onto toxins in the gut and stop them from being reabsorbed. The most potent binder for plastics seems to be activated charcoal, and one study even showed close to 100% plastic removal from water when the activated charcoal was added to it. But I don't recommend activated charcoal for long-term use because it also binds to nutrients. So other better options would include things like zeolite or maybe bentonite clay. I have a video on toxin binders if you want more info on this. Also, when we look at these elimination steps, there's another part most people miss. The order matters. If you start by pushing plastics out of your cells but your liver and gut aren't ready, you just create a traffic jam. Plastics build up in your blood and can't be eliminated. So the smart approach is to actually start with step 3, then step 2, and only then go with step 1. So first, support bile flow and think about binders so the exit doors are open. Then load up the liver with amino acids and antioxidants so it can handle the influx. Be careful with high-dose B vitamins here, by the way, especially in the beginning, because they can also mobilize other toxins like heavy metals and excess hormones. So definitely go slow. And only then start mobilizing plastics from cells with sulforaphane or glutathione support. That way you don't overwhelm your system and you're creating a smooth pipeline instead of bottlenecks. There are also a few optional add-ons that can be used as targeted support. For example, for gut support, something like glutamine can help strengthen the gut lining and prevent plastics and other toxins from leaking back into the body. A healthy gut also always means better bile recycling. For hormone support, because plastics often act like xenoestrogens, you can think about supplements like DIM or calcium D-glucarate, because they can help the liver clear excess estrogen and protect your hormone balance. And then I also want to talk about sauna, because studies have found BPA, phthalates, and even microplastics in sweat. Unlike exercise, which puts your body in fight or flight mode, sauna lets you sweat while also staying relaxed and in a parasympathetic state. That means your liver and lymph system can keep working while you're sweating. Daily 10 to 15 minute sauna sessions are ideal, or try to at least do it once a week if that's all you can do. Okay, so based on what we talked about, let's build this stack in practical terms. So here's what it could look like. So you start with step 3, bile and binders. This is the foundation. And here you could start with 500 to 1000 milligrams of taurine per day, then 1 to 3 grams of lecithin. I prefer organic sunflower lecithin, but it will be a little more expensive. And also, optionally, you can use a binder of your choice that doesn't reduce nutrient absorption. So my favorite ones would be MCP, so modified citrus pectin, and zeolite. And you want to take them a few times per week, usually away from meals and medicine. And then in step 2, you have the liver processing part. Here, a B complex would be helpful. It can be activated or normal depending on how sensitive you are and what you tolerate. Too high of a dose will definitely jumpstart detoxification, so please be careful. And then extra antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, zinc, and the like. And then only then you go with cellular release in step 1. So sulforaphane from broccoli, either sprouts like we said before, or a supplement, trying to get around 100 milligrams of active sulforaphane. And then things like NAC or whey protein for glutathione support. Now, this is just a general overview, of course, and chances are it needs to be adjusted to your personal tolerance and specific needs. And if you have a high toxin burden, please check out my Detox Masterclass, where I teach you how to set up your customized detox protocol step by step. It will be linked in the description and goes over everything in much more detail. You really need to customize this to your specific needs because everyone has a different toxin profile and reacts differently to these supplements. All I wanted to show you in this video is that even though microplastics are one of the biggest hidden toxins of our time, with the right strategy, you can help your body get rid of them. The secret is giving your body the tools it already uses for detox, but just optimized for modern toxins that it wasn't designed for. If you do that and also understand the underlying mechanisms behind it, you're definitely way ahead of 99% of people out there.